Okay, it looks like we are live right now. So, hello everyone. Just maybe let us know if you can hear us well. Tell us on the chat if you can hear us. We are going to wait a little bit since people are joining. Hello everyone. Just let us know if you can hear us in the comments so we can be sure that everything is working well, please. So we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also on Twitch. Just say hello just to be sure that everything is working well. Hello. Okay. Okay. Looks like we're okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our live session. So this interview is on live on LinkedIn and also YouTube and the No Code Friends Twitch channel. And I have the pleasure to have Prakash, who is the CEO of Xano today. And I will ask you a lot of questions, Prakash. So maybe just to start, I will introduce myself and I will let you do it as well. So my name is Clément. I'm the co-founder of Gaspatch.io, which is a no-code studio. And basically, with my brother Frederic, what we do is we help people to learn no-code tools, and especially no-code tools that scale. That is why we work a lot with Xano, and we like Xano, and we also work a lot with WeWeb, which is another tool that we like to couple with the Xano. And I'm really pleased to have you here, Prakash, with us. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And maybe I'll let you introduce yourself in a quick way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much to you and your brother for being great partners to us for so long. You believed in us early on, and it's kind of great to really grow together, and then obviously to be here, having this conversation today. So yeah, I'm Prakash. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Xano. And yeah, I'm excited for this conversation. I could go into the background. We can take it wherever you want. I'm here for you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prakash. So maybe to begin, because I know that a lot of people are asking this question. So maybe could you share with us the story behind Xano Inception? What motivated you, Jacques and Sean, to create this company, and what was the vision at the time?
Yeah, so I just to probably give you more background than you need. When I was like 12 or 13, I was very into playing video games, and this is before the internet existed, to date me a little bit. But that's actually when I met Sean. I met Sean playing Doom 2 competitively, and we became best friends. And then we went to Google together. And at Google, I did UX and product, and Sean did obviously development and DevOps. After college, after Google, I went the startup route, and he went the agency route with our third co-founder, Jack. And they created this development agency to do what many agencies do, which is to create software and web applications for customers. And Xano was actually born there. And this was in maybe 2007, 2008. And it was meant to be an internal tool to help take on more customers without growing the team. And so over the course of 10 years, this command line tool, I was watching as a friend from the outside, it getting better and better and better. And in 2018, I was like, look, this is amazing. I've done a couple startups, and I always have a hard time with development. If we productize this and we brought it to no code, and at the time, especially, no code was starting to grow, but the limitation had always been on that scalability, security, and compliance. I said, if we productize it and bring it to the world, then I think we could have something special. So in 2018, I joined them officially. And then we basically re-architected everything from the ground up, and we launched in January of 21.
Okay, so it took 2 years to launch the product?
Yeah, it took a little more than 2 years and we were all working our full-time jobs. So to basically re-engineer everything. And as I mentioned, Xano had though been in development since like 2007, 2008. So that the nature of how Xano is as a product, the way it's able to handle a lot of different use cases and scenarios, it's because it's literally been battle tested across hundreds of client applications before it even hit the public market.
Yeah, I understand. And would you say that you still have the same vision that you had this time, or it's changed a little bit?
I mean, I don't think, to be honest, that we understood how big of an impact we could have when we launched. I think in the beginning, when you're a startup, you're like, hopefully some people will sign up for this product and think it's good.
Yeah.
But I think as we have started to see our growth, which has been substantial over the past or since we launched, really, I think it became clear that we're a part of this story of no code, which is empowering more people to create software. And our mission statement is to empower more people to create scalable world-class software. So we want them to build without limitations. And I think that we are well positioned to do that. Again, not necessarily clear in the beginning, but it started to become clear as we started to move forward.
Okay, perfectly clear. Prakash, we had this discussion actually at the No Code Summit in Paris, where we met for the second time, because you were here also during the first No Code Summit that happened last year. And you announced, I mean, the Xano team announced a significant milestone for Xano, a $10 million Series A funding. Congratulations for this. And look, for me, it's not just, I mean, this announcement is not just about Xano raising money and moving forward. Is more something happening in the all no code area. What influenced your decision to raise capital at this particular time?
Yeah, so it wasn't clear that, we had done an initial seed round in August of last year, and we were doing very well, and frankly did not need to raise this money that we raised. But I think there was a couple things. Number one, given the market dynamics of just what was happening in the public markets, the uncertainty of what it might look like to raise money in the next 18 to 24 months, we were like, look, we're doing really well. We can get really attractive terms. And it feels like if we want to be the category leader, we should take this money now to do that. I think that's the first thing. And then the second thing was also kind of trying to bolster the broader no code community and have them say that, look, there is a lot of attention on no code and what it can do for software creation in general. And I think that this statement around raising this money, especially in this environment, hopefully should show the no code community that the things that you're working on are really important, and that we're going to have a very big impact on how software is developed moving forward. So I think those were kind of the two things that pushed things forward there. I think the third thing is around, obviously with this money, we want every organization to use no code. And in today's world, that's like not necessarily the conclusion, especially larger organizations come to. Normally a lot of the innovation happens in the small business market, but it's a little bit slower to adopt in large enterprises. And so we felt like with this money, we would have enough to basically try to crack that nut alongside the rest of the no-code community.
Okay. And considering the Xano's current trajectory that you are explaining right now, do you believe that the company itself is fully equipped to capture the large enterprise customer? I mean, could you elaborate on the aspects of your project, but also on the services such as service level agreement, community engagement, training, etc., that are tailored to meet these clients' needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think that first you have to take a step back and look at how we were architected. I think a lot of no-code tools that are on the market today are architected with a multi-tenant architecture with the business line owner in mind, right?
Mhm.
Which is fine, but what ends up happening is once you start to really tax or test servers in a shared infrastructure, things are understandably going to fall down if the DevOps isn't right. I think for us, we wanted to take an enterprise grade approach, and that's why my co-founder CTO was the lead DevOps on Google Photos. It literally started with the server on his desk, and we architected Xano in a way to where yes, it's every customer has that dedicated resource, but as you outgrow us, you can then just move on to your own, right? And so
Mhm.
really the only limitation is how much money you want to spend as you start to grow as a company, which hopefully shouldn't be a problem as you grow as an organization. And
Yeah.
so from a scalability standpoint, I think that we have architected things in a way that an engineer would architect them or a DevOps team would architect. I think when it comes to service level agreement, things like high availability and making sure the product itself has the uptime that a larger organization is going to require. There are things in place and investments that we've made in our own infrastructure to make sure that that happens. Out of the gate, we offer 4 nines of reliability, but you can even get higher. You get up to 7 nines if you can go to a high availability rollout. So we can really meet any sort of expectation in a large enterprise. And you have to understand, we've cleared compliance with public companies like Qualtrics and like Siemens, right? If we're going to
Yeah.
clear compliance and security and scalability requirements with them, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to match up to any large organization that needs to use Xano to build faster.
Yeah, okay, I understand. And also, we've talked about before that the fact that you also organizing a follow the sun organization, so you can do support for every company in all the world. Actually, yeah,
Uh, well, we are. So, are you talking about from our own customer support, or are you talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah?
yeah,
So, from customer support side, I think this is something that we continually to try to evolve and address because the thing is with Xano, it's not just like, oh, how do I use this thing? Because
yeah,
it's like basically a programming language. People have so many different questions around what can be done. So we've
yeah,
made a lot of investments in our customer success team. We now offer 24-hour a day, 5 day a week support so we can get more coverage around the world. Hopefully, we'll offer that like 24/7 one day when we're bigger. But for right now, we think that's a really good place to be. We're
yeah,
slowly starting to offer in different languages. And so it's just kind of an evolution as we grow with the customer base and the customer need. We're trying to
yeah,
bolster the support we get. And we just launched our new community last week. So if you go to
yeah,
community.xano.com, it's a much better experience because we heard the community feedback before. It's a much better experience now. And we'll be able to actually participate a lot more with our user base and have our partners like yourself also help
yeah.
out and participate with them.
Okay, okay, I understand. And you talked about the investment and maybe focusing on the product part.
Yeah.
What are the primary areas you plan to invest in over the next few months? And looking ahead, how do you envision Xano in 1 year from now?
Yeah, so there's I'm sure that you have seen our pace of execution and the pace in which we
Yeah,
ship. There's a lot that I think is going to be coming out that people should be excited about. But most notably, I think we have real time that's going to be coming before the end of the year. That's been a big request. A lot of people, for example, Supabase is an amazing product, but some people that want to stay with Xano have to move to something like Supabase because they don't want to work with Ably or Pusher. They want native real time. So we're going to be offering that before the end of the year. We have some pretty interesting ways to help people build faster because we think actually your journey with no code starts with point and click. You want to see visually how things are put together. But
yeah,
as you get better, you actually want to move faster and you want to move more to copy and paste. So we have some things that are going to be launching at the end of this year, early into next year, that will help people do that. And then, of course, trying to introduce some more AI capability, but we didn't want to do a bandwagon thing and just put like a ChatGPT extension in
Yeah.
Xano. We wanted to really do it uniquely. So you'll be seeing some launches around that probably in Q1.
Okay, that's very interesting. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's something that we've been using internally or starting to use internally, and it's going to be pretty exciting to just make the rest of the world faster and more productive by opening it up.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying because I think there is a lot of marketing happening about AI right now in all the projects and also in the no-code projects. And I'm kind of confident that you say, okay, we prefer to go slowly, but to do something that is actually really relevant. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, we've noticed that Paris has been added as a server location region recently. Does this signify a specific focus on European market, for example?
Not necessarily. As much as I personally love Paris, not necessarily. We actually introduced multiple, like I think, believe 6 new server regions around the world, and so really, what it comes down to is we open up a new server region when we feel like there's enough demand there from our customers, and to give them the flexibility, depending on the increasing in-country requirements from a lot of these governments within these different countries, or even just how people want to build, where they want to host their data and the experience they want to give to their users to make sure that their response times are snappy. So I think we're making more of an investment to be more of an international presence and to open up really regional deployments for everyone.
Okay, perfectly clear. Maybe a last question for you, and after that we can see we can take the question from the audience. We've discussed about large enterprise clients, but Xano is also known for supporting solopreneurs and startups.
Yeah.
In your view, does Xano have the versatility to meet the needs of both startup and large scale companies?
Yeah, so I actually think you can think this is the way we think about things internally. For smaller companies, they're very much usually in a build and test phase, right? And then for larger companies, they're in a scale and secure phase or mindset. And so when we think about our product today, all of the innovation and all of kind of the improvements that we've made actually comes from the small business, right? Like the build
Yeah,
and test phase. They're the ones that are moving fast. They are building things that are more complex, and they're just the sheer volume of people that are working in the product. We need that user base to inform our innovation. But on the enterprise side, they're doing things at scale that a small business just hasn't seen or doesn't have to worry about. So when you
yeah,
talk about multi-cloud, when you talk about on-prem deployment, when you talk about some of these SLAs, we have to be able to play in both arenas. So I would say that on the enterprise side, that is where we are able to prove out our scalability and security discipline. But on the small business side, we're able to prove how we can make a builder's life easier, how we can accelerate their back end development. And they're both kind of symbiotic in that way.
mm, okay, perfectly clear. Thank you, Prakash, for all those answers. So maybe we can take a question from the audience.
Yeah, of course. I don't even
Um,
know, how do I see the questions? Oh, I click on the
yeah,
comments.
I,
Okay,
I,
got it.
I'm going to display it.
Okay, cool. I see some of,
Yeah.
yeah. Hi, everyone.
And so Xavier asked, why did you choose Postgre as a database in the Xano?
So this is full disclosure, Sean is probably going to be the best person to talk to about this. However, I can tell you that Postgres is obviously probably the most notable open source database. It gives you the flexibility of a relational and non-relational schema if you want to build things with document based and just store a lot of files, flat files, versus the traditional relational way that people think about when they're first getting started with database design. So that's where we started in terms of offering that type of flexibility. I think there's been conversations to offer more data source flexibility in the future, but I believe that is probably the answer that Sean would give. But I'll double check with him, Xavier, to give you a better one if he has one.
Okay, thank you very much. Xavier, just let us know if it's okay for you. And Xavier also had another question. Will you start an ambassador program like Notion? Notion?
Yeah, so you're going to see some changes over the next couple quarters, covering basically a better way to highlight and surface our partners, from a development standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, just like a kind of like a marketplace that we are developing right now. And so ambassadors, I think, are going to be an important piece of this puzzle. And I can probably announce here that we are going to be doing some sort of event next year for our ambassadors. And that's all I can tell you right now. But I think we're going to be doing an event that isn't necessarily for everyone, but for the people that are really building and pushing the envelope of no code with Xano, kind of as a piece of that puzzle. So we're figuring out those dynamics, but it is something that you should look forward to.
Okay, that's great. I will tell Frederick that we absolutely need to go to California next week, next year. Then, okay, I think we got all the questions. Does anyone has another question? Don't be shy. We are here to talk with Prakash. Um, I know that there is a question that I usually have also about Superbase. Um, to you, what is the difference between Superbase and Xano? How do you consider yourself? Since a lot of people are asking me that, so I ask you the question time and
Yeah,
time.
it's totally valid question. So I think, first of all, like I need to say, like we have nothing but respect and admiration for Supabase, their founders, their pace of execution, and the way they've built community. In fact, we actually look up to them quite a bit in terms of the way that they've done that. That being said, we also feel like we're serving two very different markets. Like, for example, there's a reason you didn't see Supabase at the No Code Summit because they don't traditionally consider themselves as a no code tool. There's basically two ways you can think about tooling for people within our space. One builds to make a traditional developer's life faster, and the other is building for this new group of developers, which is kind of the citizen developer product owners. We're in that second camp. Supabase is in the first. So if you want, for example, a real-time database in the cloud or Postgres in the cloud, and you don't mind writing SQL or edge functions, Supabase is an amazing choice. And it's actually probably a more cost-effective choice because you can handle all of the code and you don't have to worry about anything else. We take off the heavy lifting because we handle the DevOps. We're a full no-code application, and obviously, have a community around helping service and things that really help people solve problems with like things like office hours with very specific no code driven with a very specific no code driven approach. So that's how we kind of distinguish ourselves from Supabase. So technical, Supabase amazing. If you're like no code, that's probably when you want to use Xano.
Okay, you kind of the link between the two worlds, right?
Yeah.
We got another question from Julien. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we display this. You talked about adding real time, but by the end of the year, will this feature be included in all plans?
It'll be included in all paid plans.
Yeah,
So not like, for example, the build version, which is our free plan, it will
yeah,
probably not be included.
yeah. I think it was the question from Julien.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we got another question here. Hello, Prince. So Prince is asking, do you plan to offer self-hosting to allow some flexibility?
Yeah, so for right now, the self-hosting options are restricted to the enterprise plan. I think this is not something that is completely out of the question. I think it just we need to talk more internally about how that works for us as a business and how it can also help people that aren't necessarily at the enterprise level yet. So it is something that again, it's not off the table, but we don't offer it today.
Okay. We got another question from Xavier. Will we be able to write and store PL PostgreSQL if we decide to further expand our use of Xano?
That is a great question that I do not actually know the answer to. I think there's a couple things on the roadmap around this, but I don't want to misspeak here. So what I can do, Xavier, is I will take this to Sean to see if this is something, because we're doing a couple things around data sources in SQL. So I'll ask him and then I'll circle back with you.
Yeah, I will be able to add it as a comment afterwards, so
Perfect.
I can put the answer.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a question from Julien, I think. Yeah, hello Clement Prakash. First time I use Xano, I use WeWeb 2 for the front side. Good choice, Julien. I love the complementary of both. Do you plan more integration partnership to ease full stack development?
Yeah. So we consider ourselves front end agnostic, so we want to make sure that we can give you all the experience of a seamless integration with whatever front end you choose, so that it is something that we are currently doing and in discussions with different front end partners. So I think we, as long as the community is vocal around kind of those integrations that they want to see, then we're willing to make those investments for sure.
Okay, thank you. One question I also wanted to ask you, Prakash, since you announced the new community, it was 2 or 3 days ago, I think. Why exactly did you choose to move from the old community to this new one? What can we see that is new and different from what we got maybe before?
Yeah, so number one, the platform that we were hosted on, which was it's called Vanilla by Higher Logic. Um, I'll just be super candid. It wasn't a great experience building a community on that platform. We had originally chosen that platform because of their robust APIs, but we sacrificed a lot of the user experience that people had when they were using the community, including my own. Like I couldn't very easily see the feed of new comments that were coming in,
Mm.
and the reporting was a little bit wonky. So we wanted to move to something that was not only more visually appealing, but also offered us more capability to do things like listing our roadmap eventually, or just like, kind of let people know what we're working on, or even combine, for example, a feature request board, which is now an element there. So Liz, who now runs our community, has really done a really good job structuring different areas within the community where you can use it more of a hub to answer a lot of questions that you have about the Xano ecosystem, where vanilla, that just wasn't the case. So I just feel like on the whole, it's a much better experience using this community platform, which is a better mode is what we're using.
Okay, okay, perfectly clear. Do we have any other question from the audience? I don't think
And
so.
I'll,
Okay.
and, and I'll just let me just say one more thing just around this is not necessarily community oriented, but just around no code in enterprise organizations. So I think like, it was interesting, and Clement, you probably saw this difference from the first no code summit, where it was like all about, well, no code isn't for everything. It can only do so much. There's enterprise limitations, and we were much smaller then, to this year where it was like seemingly a lot of people were talking about no code in the enterprise. That is only going to become more and more prevalent because larger companies, there are people, or larger companies are becoming more aware of no code, and they are forced to basically leverage no code because of engineering constraints and pressure from the top to do more with less. So we're one part of the puzzle, but if there are other no code partners that are listening to this, or no code tools, it's important that we can always compete with each other when it comes to capabilities, but we have to be united in terms of how we talk to the enterprise and how we lift no code up as an industry in the enterprise so they take us seriously. So just like cloud adoption was a non-starter 15 years ago, no code adoption is non-obvious and non-consensus right now. But I think together we can figure out a way to where we can introduce the power of no code in the enterprise. All of us listening to this conversation already believe in that, but in the enterprise, we want to make sure to prove that over the next 3 to 5 years, if not sooner.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for this message. Since I think I completely share your vision that we all need to do our part because we are all in the no code area, and I feel that I mean I've seen this at the no code summit. I feel that something is happening with the larger companies, and we need to, yeah, to bring them the message, because otherwise it will stay like this. I mean the older real won't move more, and I think it would yeah, it will be a pity if it is the case. Maybe my last question, because I'm really interested about this, Prakash, do you see any difference between the American market adoption and the European one? Because in Europe we always say that we are, I mean, America is moving fast, but I feel that in the no-code area, it's a little bit different. We've seen the no-code summit is in Paris, and we see that the biggest community, I mean, no-code community in the world is in France. Do you feel the same in the market, or do you see that American market and the European market are at the same level right now?
So I think when it comes to just looking at the sheer numbers in terms of dollars spent, the American market is bigger, right? But
Yeah.
the European market is second behind it, and the European, especially in France, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe you can tell me. The community is much stronger and much more vocal. Like in America, even like there's people disparate parts of the country that use it, but there's no strong community around no code that's advancing it like there is in Europe in the no code summit. So 100% the community, 100% of the time Europe wins, but yeah, in terms of dollars spent, and I just think it's because the bigger footprint. I am interested. Why do you feel? I'm curious in your opinion. Why do you feel the European market, or especially in France, no code has taken off the way it has?
I think it's not just because about the tools, the no-code tools. I think there is the no-code philosophy that is helping us to adopt no-code, because basically it helps us to build more things, and this is something that people like. I think maybe in France, and also the community itself is something that is very powerful. So I think what we've done here in Paris collectively is to build something grower than the tools itself. It's
Yeah.
more about the philosophy, and I think it's why the French market and the French community is moving so fast in the no-code area. But I don't think it's enough to go to grow and build a big market. So that is why I think we need to go a little bit deeper to move from what we've built in terms of community and bringing to the companies. Because look, if we want to grow, we absolutely need to, like Xavier is saying, we have a lot of evangelists in France. We need to do this, but more targeting companies. But I think it's the next step, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so if we don't have any other question, I don't think I see another other question. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. Just let me double check. Just want to be sure that I don't miss anything. Yeah, I think we're good. So thank you everyone who participated. Oh, okay, okay. Prince has, okay. The last question, maybe Prince isn't a technical one, I think, from Prince. Well, when will NPM package will be integrated to overcome the limitation of current JS libraries?
Yeah, that is definitely on the roadmap. You'll probably see something in late Q1, early Q2 of next year, but it is definitely coming. That and some more exciting capability that I probably can't, I probably can and shouldn't share. But yeah, I think when it comes to managing, those libraries and dependencies, there's just some stuff to work out. and the way we're deploying things, just to make sure things are as safe as possible. But it is coming.
Okay, that's great news. So thank you, everyone, for participating to this session. Prakash, thank you a lot once again for joining us and sharing a lot of insights with us. And thanks for the audience also. We look forward to see how Xano continues to grow and evolve, and we can't wait to see how the next move is actually going to be for no code and for Xano, and also for the all no code area.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, thanks for everything that you do also for the community, and thank you for the people that are in the chat and live stream. Thank you so much for asking questions. I recognize a lot of you, and I really appreciate kind of the support as we have started to grow. We wouldn't be the product we are today without your support and your feedback. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone, and see you very soon.
Bye.